Hello, this is Michael Bridges, the project lead of Project Onyx, and I'm here to give our final update and our post-mortem. Well, my post-mortem. So, our current members are Alejandro Barrios, who has been working on and exporting a enemy model and has also been working on animating it, and then myself, which I have been bug fixing and doing general project wrapped up. So Alejandro has been working tirelessly on this model. He has had a couple issues here or there with textures not being exported correctly, shown, I believe, by the image down below. He's been currently on trying to get it animated and has been just generally working pretty hard and getting on pretty well. For me, current development status, there's no new features or tasks being planned, talked about, discussed. Just no new tasks or features at the moment. Focuses on finishing up current ones as best as possible with the current time allotted, which is the last bit of this sprint and the next sprint. Those tasks being muzzle flash. Currently, muzzle flash is implemented for the SMG, and it's still in a semi-broken state. The particle effect currently comes in and out. Enemy AI, which has been stripped down to a basic detect and shoot with a little bit of movement mixed in, and also game level finalization. This is going to be the placement of enemy spawn points and tweaking landscape and foliage, just to help with performance. Also, graphic and rendering troubleshooting. This kind of plays into the previous tweaking landscape. LED presets have been a little spotty when setting them in the project settings. For some reason, they keep getting reset. I'm not sure if it's something I'm doing wrong or if there's something in the project that's causing conflictions. So, for the final sprint and postmortem. So, for the final sprint for Project Onyx is going to be focused on a singular playable level and two or three weapons to choose from. Specifically, these are going to be the SMG, pistol, and possibly the shotgun. The pistol and SMG are for sure 100% working. Very minimal to no issues. The SMG has no issues whatsoever. The pistol, however, still has a little bit of a clipping issue, but it's almost unnoticeable. The shotgun is if I have time to finish it and get it put onto the new system, which hopefully shouldn't take too long. And also for the final week, a final round of quality assurance and bug fixing will be done in the absolute final week of this next sprint. And to move on to our postmortem, skill and knowledge. This is my postmortem specifically. I figured I should do this here since I do not believe I'll be presenting next sprint unless Pat wants me to. So this project was my first time acting as a producer. My key takeaways for this part has been the ability to parse and understand production documentation, which we got a good taste of that in our early months of our game design courses. However, being able to act as a producer and be able to tailor the documents to how wanted them for the team who I was working with was a massive boon to my skill set. I now have a solid understanding of what goes into the production side and the management side of projects, while also being able to look at it from a designer and development point of view where there could be issues that could come up in my future career that I could possibly help solve with having this understanding. This project also so technically the first time I got to actually hone the skills for specifically game design. While we had a couple projects early on in the degree, specifically I believe month three, where we got to work on a board game. Um, I really didn't get to really stretch my understanding there, as we were still in the very early stages of learning the skills for this degree program. Onyx has been one of the best learning experiences so far, and it has allowed me to really just dig deep into what I like to do, And that has allowed me to figure out that I really enjoy system design. That's what I want to do for my career. And then also being able to develop and implement those systems is kind of like the uh, the gift that keeps on giving. I get to make them or design them, and then I get to make them. So, what would I have done differently? So let's start with the complexity of the project. Initially, Onyx had a crafting and item drop system, physics-driven firearms, 3 types of enemy AI, and an open world style level. Those were all planned. Most of those have been stripped out or have been not stripped out, but have been simplified. The only one that has been overtly stripped out has been the crafting and item drop system. Open world has turned into just a single level that is fairly large, and AI has been stripped down to 1. Out of these, the most problematic has been, funnily enough, the firearms. Um, the firearms had enough issues with them that the proposed features could have been completed sans the 3 AI types. I don't think we would have ever been able to get the 3 AI types done with time allotted. Might have been able to get close, or might have been able to get 2 of them, but I don't think we would have been able to get 3. So, speaking directly, I was too focused on trying to mimic real-world firearms and using physics that intuitively made sense while also being able to follow the laws of physics. This just meant I went way too far into it and made it overly complex without really realizing it. For a small scale game like this, that was a bad idea. Just outright bad idea. Um, and when I finally started on the firearm rework, which was 2 or 3 sprints ago, I believe, I learned from the previous iteration and started taking a shorthand approach, which allowed me to still get the feeling of you're using a realistic firearm without having to jump through all the hoops, all the complexity. I was able to simplify it and give it a little bit more of an arcadey feel that was a lot better than just it's 1-to-1 to real world, all the way down to you can load a single bullet into the chamber. There was no need for me to do that and simulate that into a code, or even plan that as a system. Um, of course, hindsight's 2020, and I've learned from then. Uh, Taking the shorthand approach allowed me to get the SMG and the pistol working much faster and much easier uh, than the previous iteration. I just wish I would have started with that, and well, that leads me into the next slide. So, final thoughts for the postmortem. So, if I could start this project over from the very beginning, like go back in time with what I knew now, I would start with the firearms, and instead of going physics driven, probably still use the physics engine a little bit for the recoil and whatnot. But other than that, I wouldn't depend on it for hit detection, for loading the firearm or cycling or anything like that. I would have done that all in control of the player, where you pull the trigger, it just hit does an impulse, and that's it. Instead of doing an impulse, and then if it doesn't go far enough back, it doesn't cycle, and so on and so forth. Also, um, I would also start on the AI much earlier. Um, However, AI did start about like halfway through. Should have been for one of the first things. Um, Other than that, I don't think really a whole lot of would have changed. It would have still been fun. It still would have been a huge learning process. Um, Honestly, I say this project has been one of the best learning tools for me in a long time. Pairing it with what has been taught throughout the program from all of our wonderful instructors, and the guidance and information and the advice given to me by fellow lab mates here in Zygobot has been one of the best experiences I've ever had and will surely be remembered for years to come. And I hope to eventually be able to come back to Zygobot as an alumni and be able to pass on information and advice to interns in the future. But thank you for listening, and that has been Project Onyx's final monthly update, unless there is one for next sprint. If there is, see you then.